Hi everyone, welcome today.
Hi,
Welcome to this live session. Hi Sweeney, how are you?
hi Anthony. I'm good. So nice to be here today. What about you? How are you?
Yeah, fine. It's just after the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the afternoon here. Time for a little coffee, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the weather is good. We have a
Oh,
ton
did you
of
have the
exciting things to
Turkish?
share.
Do you have the Turkish coffee today?
No, 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 no. Yeah. Yesterday, I, I was, explaining that you should not drink too much Turkish coffee. Very strong, strongest coffee I have
Mm-hmm.
ever. No, I think it's in Italian one, so
Had.
Italian coffee, espresso. So that's great. You can drink maybe 5 or 6 per day. That's great. You should not drink too much
Right?
coffee, guy.
More
Yeah,
than
yeah.
that. Definitely.
Mm,
So, what's up, everybody? Thanks for having join us here today, and thanks for being with us here today. It's gonna be fun, and today we're gonna talk about something that's a bit different than what we usually talk about, but it's definitely around the four C's, and you're definitely gonna love it. Before that, if you're new here or if you just joined in, do drop a hi on the chats so that we can talk to you and do ask us any questions that you have in your mind previous stream or anything that's going to come up with stream today. Do interact because it feels awesome if we talk, chit chat, and work around the live. And yeah, welcome to the stream.
perfect.
Perfect. Oh, we said that together. Awesome. So let's present the slides and then we can begin. Also, if you have your friends around, do bring them in here and we can all do an awesome Entando component live. Hi,
Hi,
Massimiliano.
hi,
Thanks for
Massimiliano.
joining in. Yep. Cool.
So,
So
what are
today,
we going to speak about today, Sini?
So
Components?
we're going to talk about components. And I think of all the things that we always talk about, like bundles, PBCs, and all the, I don't know, component collection, solution templates, of all the things that we always talk about, I think component is a term that we developers have in our regular lives. Don't you
Mm,
agree, Anthony? So
yeah.
even if you're pretty new to what is Nintendo, what is this, what is that, I think you're gonna be pretty comfortable today because you deal with components daily in your developer life. So it's gonna be very simple. It's not gonna be too tough. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the different components, types of Nintendo components. So um, this is a question to you. Do you know what components are? Um, of course you would, but in case you don't, then we're gonna do a brief um, discussion on that today. So here in this picture, as you can see, we've got many Legos, right, Anthony? What can
Yeah,
we
pieces of
call these?
Lego. Yeah, Legos. Well, what I can see, I can only see heads.
Yep,
So I guess there is more pieces like that that allow us to build a complete character.
yep. Lego, a complete master Lego. I don't know what to call that. So, what can we actually term these heads in a developer's perspective? Can these be called as components? What do you
Mm,
think?
I would say yes
Mm-hmm.
because from my my understanding, I would say that I can use these pieces of Lego multiple of time with
Mm-hmm.
different other pieces to make
Mm-hmm.
something different, or
Right.
something complete thing. So let's say, for example, I would like to build a policeman
Mm-hmm.
using this piece, and also I will probably use other components that will be a body and
Hmm.
arms and maybe an helmet and everything that will make my character recognizable as a policeman.
Right.
And maybe I would
Hmm.
like also to do a fireman or
Hmm.
firewoman, even, and
Out
I
of
can
this.
use the
Hmm.
same piece, in this case, the head, and also maybe will need to change a few details like a different helmet, different colors of hair, of I
Hmm.
know, well, everything that could be that could make my character recognizable as,
Complete.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Complete.
recognizable as a firefighters.
Right, right. So, friends, to all my friends and viewers, here as you see, we've got many components. We can also see that there is a tiny component. I don't know if you can spot it, but I really love to do this on the right top corner, and
Mm.
that's a female head. If you can see, it's a bit blurry. Okay, cool. I was just joking. This is
And
just something that I spotted now. Do you
yeah, and
see
I
it?
think we also have, yeah, also then we also have
Mm-hmm.
another one that have a, is it a bird? No,
Yeah,
the
it has a
orange
big
one.
red. Yeah,
It
it's a bit
seems.
orange neck or something like that.
Yeah.
It's near to the right corner itself.
Mm-mm.
So anyway, what I was telling is, so here, couple of things that we should note. So the first thing is a component is a small section or part of a larger whole. Now, as Anthony mentioned, that these heads can not only be a unifunctional component, but these can be multifunctional. So, by multifunctional, I meant these heads could be used to build a policeman. Again, it could be used to build a fire. What's that? Fire woman.
Firefighter. Oh,
Firefighter. Sorry, not
yeah,
firewoman or fireman. Firefighter.
yeah. I
So,
think this is the name in English, but I'm not sure.
okay, but
So so
still, we do understand the context, right?
yeah.
So what I mean to say here is a component cannot have a very precise definition other than this one, that it could be a
Mm.
small section or part of a larger whole. In terms of functionality, a component can be a function itself. In terms of functionality, a component could be something that could be only functional once it's all piled up together with many components like in one place, and then it becomes meaningful. So a component could be of many types, a component could be of many kinds, a component could be of different functions, and yeah, there are a there is a huge um, variation when we speak of components. So today our topic is what are the different types of Entando components. So we understand basic components. So I'm going to speak of a couple of I don't know, front end components. What could be
Yeah.
some of the front end components? It could be so when you write code in React, a small
Mm.
component could be just a header, right?
Yeah.
Or
Or a
a basic
button.
or a button, right? It
Mm.
could be a footer. It could be a, I don't know, some kind of a pop-up bar or a tooltip. So these are mini
Mm.
components. So it's not pretty much functional unless you combine them together at one page, right?
Mm.
So it
Mm.
becomes a big functional element, a big
Mm.
functional application. So in the same way, as I speak of Entando components, before I go and speak about the different kinds of Entando components, I would like to say that why is components so important while we speak of the Entando ACP or Entando ACP platform? Because components are the first step that you need to go through when you start with the four C's, when you start with your composable journey.
Mm.
So, in the create phase itself, you are dealing with components. So, here you can see it's written quite clearly here that we have the Entando component generator, and developers use the component generator and the CLI to build, package, and deploy components to the central hub. So these components that people are building are a specific kind of components. Am I right, Anthony? I should be right. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
think we can. I was thinking about the Lega's analogy,
Mhm.
and if I need or if I want to compose a bigger application, I
Mhm.
need to understand what I have under my hand, what I have, uh, in my what solution I have to do that. And
Mhm.
uh, if I'm watching my sons, I have three sons and
Mhm.
one daughter, so I can watch them all all time. I have a
Mhm.
lot of time to watch them
Mhm.
playing, and where they are playing with Legos. Basically, what they are doing is to
Mhm.
first select the element they want to use
Mhm.
because they have the final idea of what they want to build. So it's like, oh, maybe I will need a car, maybe I will need, I don't know, let's say I need to build a castle, so I want to build a castle, so I need to have maybe some characters, but also I will need to have walls, I need to have, well, everything that will make finally a castle. So I need to first select my component and also to know them. Because
Mhm.
if I'm using a wall as a road, it will probably not work as
Work.
expected.
Right?
But the same thing is, this is why I think it's important there to figure out
Mhm.
exactly what we have, what we can use to compose our applications. We are
Right.
always saying about components. We can use components, but components, it's a generic word to
Mhm.
talk
Define.
about it. Yeah, the
Mhm.
different tools. It's like, you have the different tools. So when I'm doing some uh, DIY,
Mhm.
this is what in English DIY. I can use some
DIY.
tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
example, this is one of the tool I'm using. When I need to do something
Mhm.
in my home.
Mhm.
So I have this one. This is one component, but
Mhm.
alone I can do. I I can't really do a lot of things. So this is
Mhm.
why I need to understand why I need that,
And
and
why is it?
what
Where
I
is it
can,
useful?
yeah,
Mhm.
and what I can use alongside this tool, let's say this component, to finally succeed in my goal.
Right. So I guess the why and the where is very important when we can imagine of building or dealing with components. And speaking about the four C's, the four C's that you can see here, I think the importance of components and its types
Hmm.
are typically something that comes between the create and curate phase, because here you actually deal with components, and while you are in your composable journey, you don't really think about. So it's like me or Anthony or people at Entando or our customers who are using the ACP are creating composable applications, and while they're doing like, or while we're working with it, we don't really think about, oh, this is one type of component or this is the
Hmm.
other type of component. We're just this, we just termed as, oh, component. But and it's not mandatory to actually know the difference, but in terms of your knowledge or in terms of diving in a bit
Hmm.
deeper to
Yeah.
figure out where do these components actually fit in, or
Hmm.
what is the category of these components, I think it's important that we speak about it here in
Yeah.
today's
And
session.
one more thing is also, if we uh, think about creators, we will say that a creator need to understand
Mhm.
all the component because it will create them. So you can create something you don't know.
Mhm.
The creator will
Mhm.
probably, we'll check the bundles. We talk about the bundles most of the time, but bundles have, here's a set of components. So it needs also to understand what we have inside the bundle, and how we can check it, what kind of
Right.
analysis you need to do, what kind of quality is expected for each quality level, and everything else. So for a composer, it will be the same
Right.
thing. So it could be, I would guess a composer will first check what a PBC is covering, but what
Mhm.
business needs a PBC is covering, but Maybe the second step will be okay, so now we need to understand what components we have with this PBC. So what we all we can use it is more about the how for a composer. And maybe the consumer will not take so I will say that will not be too much worried about what kind of component we have, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess or I think it needs to understand this idea of composition by understanding the different component types. It will help also to give feedbacks, and it's pretty clear that a backend component
Mm-hmm.
is something very different from a front end component, and we can't expect the same behavior or the same responsibilities for each.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, I
so
agree.
this is why this is very important. If well, whatever you are, or whatever the role you will play in this composition journey, you will need to understand all the different kinds of components.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Definitely. So after this, we're going to talk about, now we're actually going to talk about the types of Entando
Mm.
components. So these are two specific types of Entando components, namely standalone components and platform specific components. So I'm going to pause for a second and ask our viewers, what do you think are the components like? So the components present while you're in the creation phase and the components while you're in the curation phase. Which of these could be standalone components and which of these could be platform specific components? That's a question. You can give in your guesses. Well, you can, but it's okay. It's just a question. Cool. So I'm gonna say it myself as I see no responses here. Okay, so standalone components are something that can be run outside of Nintendo, and all the bro code stuff actually survives here. They live here, so these can be run locally. And let's say someone wishes to build a .NET microservice or a Java microservice, or any other microservice. So we can do that as Entando is supported with Kubernetes. So we have the flexibility to build a template for that for sure. So yeah, these are standalone components. And when we speak of platform specific components, so these can be run only with Entando platform. So yay, we are special here. Okay, so these are page related components. So page template, page, um, and also they've got CMS functionality under this. And there is a simple widget and HTML fragment, which is yes fragments. These comes under the types of platform specific components, and also static resources. So this deals mainly with the content area and page management, and this could help you or your content team be free of all the hassle. They don't need to be worried about, oh, I gotta do this. It's all gonna be done very simply. So this can be possible only on the Nintendo platform. So do not forget this. So yeah, these are the two types of components that we wanted to talk about. And then we've got component types. You want to take up here, Anthony, the types of components?
Yeah, I'm just I'm removing the webcam so everybody can see
Mhm,
the
mhm,
whole list of components. So here, uh, well, basically it will just it's just a read it or a different view of you already said, Soini, about the different components. We can see that we can have something like macro front-end widgets, microservices also. So basically, this is what we are calling, well, micro front-ends is a widget. So sometimes a widget cannot be a micro front-end. I guess
mhm,
all of them are more related to standalone component. I really like to have these two different
mhm,
categories so we can easily understand that, oh, okay, standalone components is something I already do. I mean, all the
mm,
developers are using what we call standalone components. What are
mm,
standalone components in the Entendo platform? But alongside that, we also need to have a specific Nintendo component. So this is why we have here um, we created the different components like pages, page templates. So we will
Mhm.
see in the demo what are the difference between both and what we need sometime templates, what we need pages. We also have content templates, content. So all the thing that is related to the CMS you have explained, content,
Mhm.
content type, categories, content templates. We'll probably not spend too much time here because everything is well related to the CMS and is not something new. But
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Just
Oh,
before moving to the next slide, is
yeah.
yeah, we also have everything that is related to group and roles. That is more about um, well managing the
Mhm.
users' static resources, of course, and labels for internationalization.
Mhm. Mhm.
So this is what all we can easily
Mhm.
explaining everything there is, but I think
Right.
it's not very clear. If when I started using Nintendo, I was always wondering, but what is the difference between this component and this component? Should I use this one or this one, or well,
Mhm.
do I need to understand something else in all these components family? And this is why I think it's valuable right now to talk about that. So,
Mhm.
as you said, it's the demo time now.
Mhm.
So, what I can suggest, I can share my screen and
Yep.
just you know browse an existing Nintendo
Mhm.
platform or a Nintendo application, and we can
With
select the
all the
different components, and maybe we can
mhm.
explain all these things. So here we go.
Done.
So perfect. So I
Stage
can
is all yours. Mhm.
I just need to change my screen, load it
Mhm.
like this. Here we are. So this is my actually this is my Nintendo component. But oh, by the way, before
Mhm.
starting diving into this component, what I will say first is we have just released something we call the test drive to test Nintendo. So it's free, and you can um, execute different scenarios to understand and play with Nintendo on the cloud. So what you need to do is to uh, go into Nintendo.com and click on try now, or directly go. I'm just putting in the chat. Um, discover Nintendo.com test drive. So you can check there. You just need to fill this form, and then we will receive a link
Mhm.
that will contain a private link that will well move you or drive you
To the
to
test drive.
yeah, to
Yeah.
the test drive. And so we have prepared, and well we know that well because with Soini we work a lot of time by
Mhm.
making it the more accurate as possible, and we try
Yes.
to yeah make it understandable for people who want to test and understand what are the different things. So the good things is all the well at least major part of the different components we are talking about, and I will do the demo for you,
Mhm.
are available on the test drive. So you will be able to understand all these things, compose a page, install bundles, compose a page, and so on. So you will be able to play with it. So feel free to register because it's free, and you can expect a good understanding by doing this kind of training, let's say testing. There you
You'll
go.
really have a good experience with it, and please go and test it out. We can't
Mm,
wait to see what you've discovered, what you've learned, and of course, your feedback. So,
yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
perfect. So now we are in the demo and we have a few things to say. So this is my local Nintendo application, and I'm actually in the app builder. So the app builder is like is the back office of my application where I can manage it, manage different components, decide to
Hmm.
compose, manage the users, the content, and probably more than that. Also decide to install new bundles and so on. So what I want to do here is to present you the different components where they are available on the app builder and what you can do using them. So
Mm-hmm.
first, let's just understand what I did before the live started. Is in my repository, I installed four different bundles from the Nintendo Hub, the Nintendo Cloud Hub. So just to remember you, so we know how the Nintendo Cloud Hub, you can select the existing bundles you can decide to
Mm-hmm.
install, and that means when you install them, you have the components available on your application. So this is what I did with the standard banking demo. So you have different things, a bundle dedicated to the banking, one for the customer, one to manage the users, and one that contains all the different things like pages, templates, and so on.
And in
So
case you're new to this, and if you feel like, oh, what's this now, you can check out our previous stream that we did last week,
yeah.
where Anthony helped us learn how you can install a hub in your app builder and how you can use it. So definitely go check that out.
Mhm. Exactly.
Well,
So that's mean if I go into my, what I will do is, for example, I can just decide that my home page will be this standard demo home
mm-hmm,
page.
mm-hmm,
And so if I'm clicking here on the little house, it will open my application, and this is my standard demo. So in this standard demo, you have a lot of things here, a lot of different things. This is the home page. All these things are components. So
mm-hmm,
this is a page where we put different components. We have banners here, and we have, if I go there, we can see that we also, oh, I'm missing some images, but we
mm-hmm.
have different also elements here, and
We
also
have Alessandra joining us.
hi
Hey,
Alessandra.
Ali, thanks for joining in.
And you
Yeah.
also have something with my dashboard where you can see that you have several microfontaine's. So three different microfontaine's here, one other
Mm-hmm,
microfontaines with the bar, another one to check the transactions that display transactions as a table, and so on. So you can see that this page is made of one, two, three, four, five microfontaines. So just to give you
mm-hmm,
an idea of what kind of application we can have, we can expect compose when you compose using Nintendo applications. But now when you need to understand what are the different components. So if I'm reading back the list, maybe we can first start with microfontaine widgets and microservices, what we call
mm-hmm,
plugins. So a microfontaines is a small part of code for the front end, and is the equivalent for the front end to what we have for, let's say differently, is the equivalent of for the front end to what microservice is for the backend. It's
mm-hmm.
not easy to say in English, Tim. I'm sure. I'm sorry. I'm just struggling
That's
because,
fine. You do great
but
job in that.
but
Yep.
you understand that
Yeah.
is the equivalent. And
Mm-hmm.
so that means you can build small pieces of code that are, have a quite uh, different usage, we can say that, and you can then select them and drag and drop them into the different pages. So the thing is, you can find the microfontaine's under the components and MFE and widgets. So by default, you have different widget available. So this is why we are saying widget and microfontaine's. A microfontaine's will be something that probably the creator will create using React, Angular, or Vue, or anything else. Even you can also use raw JavaScript and HTML that works. And a widget is well, let's say for example, the CMS comes with different widgets. Navigations comes with different widgets. So widget is an element you can drag and drop. So uh, let's say that a microfontaine is a widget, while a widget is not necessarily a microfontaine.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we can see under the user section, I have all my microfontaines and widgets I have installed. So that are not coming from the raw Nintendo installation. So
Mm-hmm.
if you check that, everything that you can see here is coming from the standard demo, from the different bundles.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, here I can see the SD seed card are the card, you know, when, well, I can show you in my dashboard. So we can see that we have three different cards,
Mm-hmm.
and it's this card. So we have two different microfontaine because one is made with Angular and one is made with Angular NG and one is made with React. So there is no reason to create the same microfontaines with two different framework unless you
Mm-hmm.
want to demonstrate that. So in this case, this is why we did that, just to demonstrate that you can have this one is the Angular version and this one is the React version, but basically they are doing the same job. So
Right.
if I go into it, I can see that uh, my widget is coming with several different UIs. So the first things is, well, we need to understand you have the code. When you have the code, when you decide that the code you have is matching your requirement, or you have done so the sprint, let's say you are working with sprint, the sprint is done, what you want to do is to create a bundle. So the bundle is the optimized version, will contain the optimized version of your application. So for example, here we can see that we have some chunk JavaScript files that will contain your code, the fragment code, etc. So everything is optimized. So you can't read it; it's not human readable. But if you load it into your browser that will work. And this is why uh, we need to optimize the code to make it work more to be to ensure that the code is very fast to load, fast to run, and everything is kind of optimization. So we are creating a bundle from that. So we are compiling and then we are pushing it into a bundle, and the bundle is matching with a dedicated version. So my
Mm-hmm.
1.1.0 version contains several different features. And this is why we need bundles. And this is also because we need bundles also because we use bundles to share the different components on the hub. So the thing is, you need to tell the platform what or how your microfontaine will be rendered, and this is why it's like the index.html of your application. So this is why we need. This is what we call the custom UI. This is because this is a customization of your UI. So basically, the first, well, in this case, it's quite simple. What you need to have is just to include the different scripts and then call the custom elements and give to these custom elements, if you need, a specific configuration. So in this case, we give to it the card name. Why we need that? Because as I said, these three different card is basically the same application. So if you are asking for the checking, you will need to add the checking savings credit card, and it will load different values and also display different sub values. So if we, so this is the custom UI. Yeah, the custom UI, as I said, I think well, to make it simple, we can say that custom UI is something like you have, the index HTML you have in your application when you are coding it. The
Mm-hmm.
config UI is the UI that will be used to display the configuration page. So the configuration page is something we will see in a few minutes, but this is what you need to ask your computer which CAD name you want to select, for example. So what is the actual configuration it needs for is macrofontaine. Okay, so this is also, oh, we can make macrofontaine more flexible. So this is
Mm-hmm.
why we have the config UI. So the config UI is the same thing, is very specific to the platform. But after all, everything that we are loaded here is a macrofontaine and can be used outside Nintendo. So that means if you already have a given macrofontaine, you basically need to wrap it everything under a bundle, define a custom UI, and it should work. So we can really see the component there, but maybe if you go into the page, we will be able to see it. But first, let's finish with that. So this is what we call the microfontaine and widgets. We now have the microservices and plugins. So in this case, it will be quite hard for me to show you a microservices or microservice, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
because uh,
Mm.
this is a backend application and we have nothing to display in the hub builder that is showing
Yeah.
normal. But
Mm-hmm.
what we can do is when you have a bundle, so for example here SD banking bundle, you can see that in the description you have the microservices tag, bundle, microfontaines, and widgets. Okay, so you can
Mm-hmm.
see here if you click also on the excuse me, on the install plan, you can see all the elements that are contained into this bundle, and you can see that we have a plugins here. So because a plugin is a microservice and because Nintendo is running over Kubernetes, that means each plugin will create a new container and a new pod. So that means if you go into your Nintendo, into your Kubernetes cluster or use kubectl, you will be able to see the different containers that are running. So if I just display the pod like this, I can see that if you remember well, I said that you can, in installation plan, you can see at the bottom that we have a plugins. The name is phen number ca number Entendo demo SD banking, and you can
Mm.
find it here as the banking deployment. Okay,
Right. Yep,
so
I can see
this
that.
is, yeah, this is my container. So this is my container, and I will try to do something, but this is my container. My application is running inside this container. Okay, this is my pod.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the only way you can check the different plugins. So when you are installing the bundle, you install basically all these different plugins. So you are creating also, well, the Entity operator is creating for you the different resources you need. So if I do plugs, oh, I can't. What? I think it's the right.
Error.
Oh, yeah. No, I know what happened. I need to define Nintendo as the default namespace. Yeah. So you can see
Mm.
that the application that is basically Spring Boot, even a Jibster application running in
Mm.
Spring Boot, and you can see that the application backing is running. So we have no log more than that, but this is all you can check your application. So my plugin is a microservice and it's running on Kubernetes. Here you go. So we cover microfontaines and microservices. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
we can just go quickly into the UX, excuse me, to the UX fragment, because I think it's something very interesting. And let's say, even I will say, when I figured out the first time I figured out that, oh, this is all you can use the UX fragment, I was thinking, it's clever.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you are going to components and UX fragments, I can say I
Mm-hmm.
have different fragment there. And basically, a fragment is a small piece of code that is not complex as a macro content could be, and
Mm-hmm.
I will be able to use it to include it into page templates. So, for example, if I what happened if I edit this one? So I can see that here I have, well, I have a button and I have a little bit a piece of code, a JavaScript code here. So
Mm-hmm.
me, so the code is this code one, this code. So I the login buttons. So let me check if I have what I have login buttons. Probably when I need to log. So if I go into my template and then we are going to check the template, maybe I'm not sure. Maybe I will be able to search. No, I don't have the login button here. Oops. Let
Mm-hmm.
me check.
It
Dashboard.
should.
Maybe.
Uh.
Oh, let me. No, I don't have it. Where is my login? Oh, anyway, another example is this one, the fragment.
Mm-hmm.
We have here the standout demo inclusions. So if I go back into the components and fragments, uh, I have the inclusions. So let me just check standout demo inclusions. So this is not a button. This is a bit different. Sorry, I started with the button, but I should start with that. And we can see that in the inclusion, we are included different shared items, such as, for example, libraries with jQuery or CSS or something else. So instead of um, copying this piece of import into different pages, we are
Mm-hmm.
defining it as a fragment. And so when you create a page template, you just need to declare it, to include it into your page.
Right.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't choose the right page. So the right page is this one. So that means here,
We have to
this
include it.
code, yeah,
Mm.
this code will be replaced with what the standard demo
The one that
inclusions
we
defines.
copied.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite easy then to define and create different pieces of reusable elements. Really easy to manage dependencies for your different pages. So that's also work with meta. So for example, you have some meta names or things like this. Or if you want to, define things, let's say a footer with, imagine you have a footer with, your name, copyright, and the year. So 2022. And
Mm-hmm.
then we move to 2023. So you have the fragment. You just need to update it, and all the pages will be updated because they are including this fragment. So then I would like to talk about pages and page templates. So because I started by explaining here what a page template here is. Uh, well, I think the easier definition, the best definition will be uh, to just display this as an example. So a
Mm-hmm.
template is a way, let's say, a predefined configuration for
Mm-hmm.
a page instance. So when I want to create a page, I want to define, I want to select the template I want to apply to this page to ensure I can drag and drop the different elements. And also, as we saw, I can also expect from this page some inclusions, some shared elements that are already present. So I can define several templates like this, or I can have, so for example, the 1, 2 columns. Let me check now one, for example, this one, that is a default one. So you can see that we've separated the page into two different columns. Ooh, excuse me. Two different
Oh,
columns.
yeah.
For example, we have the favicon here. The favicon is the image, when you put your page, your web page into the favorites, and so on. So what you want to do is, yeah, to create templates to improve
Mhm,
your application and make it more coherent. So you can reuse template for different pages, but you can also having different version of the same page using a different template. So a template, it's a kind of a shape you want to use or reuse, or you want to define pages. So that means the next element, the next component will be the pages itself. So the page itself is what we can basically, my dashboard here is a page. The seed home page is a page, and they are both using a different page template. So if you can see here, I have several pages, and I can also have sub pages. So when the button is plain blue here, that means I have sub pages. And if I click here, I can see that. So I have my home standard demo page and my dashboard. So the two different pages I just show you. So
mhm,
it's also possible to add a new page. So, and I can, because this is, as I said, we need to understand that this is an instance. Um, so I can define all the different elements. I can decide also in the page tree where my page will belong and
mhm,
the owner. So let's say, we'll say that it's free access. And I can decide to select a template. So in this case, you can see that we can, browse the different templates we have and select which one we want to use. So for example, I
mhm,
can decide to use this one.
mhm.
And then I can click on Save in Design. And when I'm clicking here, that means I can decide, for example, here to add a logo. Okay. And for some reason, I can decide to use a micro fontaine. So
Yeah.
I can use, let's say, maybe we can try to use the SD card. I'm not sure if it will work or not. And because I choose this SD card, I need to define which. Oh, let's say I need to select the configuration to configure it. And to
Mhm,
configure what I said, this is what I was saying before. So I need to select which one I want to use, and then
mhm,
to click on save. Then I'm clicking on publish and
mhm.
view publish page. And I can
Have it
scroll.
here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what we did,
Display.
the
Mhm,
test page is the page itself. For this page, we decide to use the one, two column page template.
mhm.
Okay. Uh, I don't know, just page settings. Uh, I think if I unpublish it, let me just go to the page. So I can go into the management, test page, design. Oh no, not design, excuse me. Page management, edit,
Mm.
and let's say, for
Change it.
example, I'm changing the page template from one to for one columns to one columns and
Mhm.
save and design. So the
Yeah.
page is
No, it's
different.
one
Yeah,
column. Yep.
is very different now, and I can decide
Mm.
to still use my elements, my components here. Click on
It's
view
just that
publish
it will
page,
appear
and
in
it
a
will be
different
different.
way. Yeah. The
So
layout changes.
exactly, yeah, the layout is, is a great thing. So we can decide, we can say
Mhm,
that the page template is contains a layout, not only a layout, but uh, one of the elements of the template is the layout, and also all the all the different shared elements we can define inside the HTML code. And so every time we are create a
mhm,
new page, a new instance of a page, you can leverage it because you are using the template. So this is how pages and page templates are working. Uh, Now, maybe we can just explain a little bit what are different contents. So I will not spend too many time on this part, but what you need to understand. And by the way, we already have some videos on that on our YouTube channels.
Yeah,
Is
go check that out.
yeah,
Yep.
you have some template. You have also the notion of template. You have the notion of content, like the page. So you can create a content and using a template. You have a notion of categories and a type. So if I check that, a type, let me a template. Oh, sorry, my application is very slow.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hmm. Okay, let's go
Maybe
back to the.
retry. Oh,
Ooh, this is not good.
is it a timeout error or something?
Yeah.
Or maybe we need to.
Okay.
Oh, it's working now.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, you can define a type. So a type is, let's check for example for the standard demo banners. So this is a type. So what
Mm.
a type contains. So in the type you have the different attributes. So you can say that a
Mm-hmm.
content is a standard demo banners, and for this given content, I'm expecting people to define a title, a subtitle, giving an image, giving a net description, a link, and so on. So this is the different. Well, a type helps to define the different attributes you expect people to give to create a content. Then uh, you have the categories.
Yep.
So the categories, well, I think categories is very easy to understand. It's just
Yeah.
defining different kind of elements,
Categories. Yep.
categories. So you can put element contents into the different categories, and then you have a template.
Yes.
And a template for the same thing is just, for example, you have a new, let's say for a news. So if I check the news, so a template will define how your content will be rendered.
Mm-hmm.
So you define, so a template is defined for a given type. So that in this case, you define a template for news. So if you have a news, this is important to understand because a template, well, no, a type defines um oh, what I was saying defines the different, what I said,
Types.
no, types. Oh my god, I was saying the types contain the different attributes. Yeah, this
Okay.
is the name I
Yeah.
was looking for, attributes. And when
Yep.
you are creating a template, you are using these attributes to render the type in some ways. So in this case, you are saying, oh, you are creating a content that the type is news. And if you want to display the news details, we will apply this template. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
why do we need different template for a given type? That is quite easy to understand. Let me explain you. Let's say you have a blog. So you will probably want to display the different element of your blog as a list, just
Mm-hmm.
by displaying the title and maybe the beginning of the news, and
Mm-hmm.
you will just list them. And when people will click on the title, you will display the whole news content. In this case, you are just
Mm-hmm.
managing the same type of element of component that is, well, it's, yeah, the same type of component that are content.
Mm-hmm.
And this content is a news. So the type of this content is a news. And you define two different templates, one to render them as a list and one to render them to have a detailed view. So in this case, this is a detailed view. So this is
Mm.
why you need different, for the content, for a given type, you have different templates. Okay.
Mm.
And then that's mean when you create, so that means we can just do a try right now. Is,
Mm.
let's say I'm adding a news. So I define my test news test, and I
React.
define the categories. So let's say it's a news. I can click on plus. So I have my categories,
Mm.
and I need to, oh yes, to set free access, and then I can starting uh
Adding content.
filling, yeah, the different um
The
attributes.
content kind of, yeah, the values for the attributes.
Yeah, so the values,
Title,
abstract, main body,
abstract.
this is,
Yeah,
it should be my news content.
yeah.
I can
And
add an image,
then,
and I can, define the categories and so on, vertical, horizontal, and so on. So,
and then we can see.
and then I can
Mm.
click on save and approve.
Mhm.
And this is, oh, I have my content. Okay, I have some troubles with my with my application today. It's the demo
Yeah,
effect. I'm pretty sure this is the
yeah,
demo
maybe.
effect.
Yeah, so many things are installed together. That could be the problem, but it shouldn't happen. But yeah, definitely a thing to figure out what's happening. But I guess we've got the basics of what we wanted to
Yeah,
learn today. Hmm.
yeah. My application is very slow. I don't know why. Just want to check. Oh, okay. I have a
It's not
pod that is not running. I
running.
have some trouble. I think it's just starting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's crash and is try to start again. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is the explanation. So anyway, so just maybe we can just finishing with that because, well, what time is it? Well, we spend a lot of time talking about
Yep.
components, but
Mm-hmm.
the idea then, just to finish with the news and the content, is when you have the news, when you have the categories, when you have everything set up, you can then combine create a page using a page template,
Right.
insert the news widget in which you will select which news content you want to display and which template you want to apply, and then you will have the final page. So it's funny to understand that by doing that, you will probably use 80% of the components you have on Nintendo. So
Right.
pages, page templates, um,
US
uh, all the
fragments.
all
Yeah.
CMS use US fragment to include, so for example, your favorite CSS
Mm.
files everywhere,
Mm.
and yeah, and maybe the news you are and let's say a micro fontaine you are also included into your page will retrieve content from the backend, and so
Mm.
from a micro fontaine. The only things we didn't talk too much about is the groups and the roles, but it's quite easy to understand that you can manage the different users on your applications for a given application,
Mm.
and the static resources also that are basically all the contents like images and so on you can use into your different applications.
Right. Yes, definitely. Well, there are so many types of component itself. So now imagine if you start creating components under all these categories, it can be massive. But yes, definitely we learned a lot of things today, and thanks to Anthony for giving us a great demo of everything that we discussed theoretically with all the illustrations and slides. Definitely a thing to think about in terms of components, the different types of components we have in Tando, and why they're unique and why some of them are. platform specific, how they're platform specific, and what are those. So we definitely discovered all these things today. So to all my viewers, if you really loved our stream today, do not forget to hit a like. Do share this with your friends in your circle, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel and do show us some love. Your support helps us grow and helps us bring in more awesome and interesting content for the upcoming weeks.
Mm,
So definitely do show your support and love. That's important for us. And yeah, that's all from our end today. Is there anything you want to add, Anthony? Or we can
that's
wrap up.
perfect. I didn't expect to spend a lot of time, today explaining
Yeah,
all the components, but definitively it
it was
needs
useful.
time, yeah,
Yeah.
and useful to explain everything. So
Hmm.
before leaving, one more thing: if you want to test Nintendo, I really, really suggest you to go
Check it out.
into this. Or let's say here. No, but anyway, you can directly
Yeah.
go there, or reach Nintendo.com and then click on try now, and so you will be able to try Nintendo, and I will be glad if people try it and then giving some feedback
Yeah.
to us.
Definitely. Definitely. Wait for that. So see you all next week, and till then, happy coding and all the best with your composable journey. Bye.
Thank you, Saini. Bye bye.
Thank you, Anthony. Bye.